Welcome to the personal side of business,
where you hear real stories from real entrepreneurs.
Hey guys, before we get into our conversation today, I just wanted to give a special thank you to our sponsor, Ergo Next Insurance, for supporting the personal side of business. If you sell your products online, whether it be on Amazon, Etsy, or Shopify, or you have a retail store, or you do local markets or pop-ups, you've worked too hard to leave your business unprotected. It only takes one product liability claim or inventory loss from fire, theft, or water damage to put your business in a major setback. That's why over 750,000 small businesses trust Ergo Next Insurance, and they have a 4.7 out of 5-star Google rating. Coverage for retailers and e-commerce businesses start as low as $25 a month, and it takes about 10 minutes to get a quote online. It's easy to protect everything you worked hard to build. Click the link in the description or visit nextinsurance.com to learn more and get your free quote today. Hi, and welcome to the personal side of business, where every business has a story. I'm your host, Jet Bunny-Wong. Today, my guest is proving that you don't have to choose between profit and purpose. She's the founder and CEO of Dip, a hair care brand that's redefining what conscious buying can look like while helping independent women-owned retailers thrive across the country. Welcome to the podcast, Kate Assaraf.
Hey, thanks for having me. Jet is the coolest name I've ever heard.
Thank you. So tell us, how did we get here?
Oh man, well, for Dip in general, it was built out of frustration. I was frustrated with the product boom of 2019 into 2020 of sustainable brands that seemed to really, really capitalize on fear marketing and getting people to buy something for the betterment of the earth, this promise of a better earth. But a lot of those products were just plastic free, and they weren't like really focused on performance or making sure that end user was excited and would be willing to repurchase that thing. And so I found that, with Dip, I was like, I know I can make excellent hair care in bar form. I know I can make something that will drive like a real forward change. But, I wanted to change the world in a way that was a little bit more subtle and a little less fear-mongery. And so that's how I got here.
When I was learning about you, I was trying to put together these pieces that you're not essentially trying to do a retail brand for hair care, which I think is difficult in itself because you're essentially having to prove a product over and over again, especially to women that want to have to use it literally every day, right? But you're now also trying to help the world, which is a huge task. I think try to do it on its own, and you're trying to do it with a retail product. And then you're also trying to specialize and work with local owned salons and businesses and retailers to help them grow while you're growing at the same time. Was that all written out all at the same time, or you were just like, I'm just going to work on one piece at a time first and then put them all together later?
Well, in my previous life, I was in business and marketing strategy. So I saw a lot of what not to do, and I saw a lot of what I didn't admire in business owners, I guess. And so what I wanted to do with Dip was, I know that sustainability is a hard sell for people, especially when the economy is, crunching down on our disposable income, and not everyone, but people are feeling the pinch of the economy right now. I wanted to kind of like create this system or this like network where, my brand could thrive, and through it, I could grow the business for sustainable stores around the country, because I know that sustainability exists like in real life better than it does online. So there's this type of store called a refill store, a zero waste store. And I knew that because I'm a customer in a store like that, like I refill as much as I can from food to like laundry detergent to spices, even bubble bath for my kids. Like I refill because I don't want more packaging in the world. And so my goal was to get someone who was excited about our hair care into a refill store so that they can accidentally fall in love with the other products in the store. Because it's always kind of been bigger than shampoo and conditioner for me. And I think customers understand that, and so does the network of stores.
Yeah. Can you walk me through that experience of, were you door knocking? Were you going in, or did you have a list of people that you researched first and then you reach out to them and you went there? Could you walk us through that whole entire process?
Yeah, you start with one, right? You start with one. You got to get that first sale. You got to get in the doors of that first one. Luckily for me, I was already a customer, so I had a relationship with a refill store owner, and that network is pretty tight. So once your product starts to see success in one retailer, then it's easier to bring that success or that, kind of your own case study to another retailer and say, hey, this store's done really well. This is how we do it. We keep our stuff off of Amazon. We make it so that you can thrive, and we don't undercut you online. Like, our goal is to watch you thrive so that sustainability, it becomes a bigger thing. And so I did door to door. I traveled all over the country. I found the refill stores. I called them. I did not email them. I called them all. And, while everyone else was going digital, I went analog, and it worked for me. And it's not that what I was doing was particularly that special. I saw that the success of Spanx and Sarah Blakely, she literally went store to store and talked to people in real life. And I was like, that is actually something I can do, and something I can do well. And that is how I grew it, really. I knocked on doors and I said, if this isn't the best hair care, forget the fact that it's in a bar form. If it's not the best hair care you've ever tried, then you don't need to call me back. But sometimes people would call me from their towel and be like, I want it for my store.
Yeah, because I looked at the stores that you're located in. It's not like you're in the tri-state area, right? You're all over the country. Were you
Yeah.
doing that as a business travel, or would you like go on family vacations and be like, okay, while we're here, I'm going to look this up, or both? Was it a combination of just wherever you went, I'm just going to knock on a door and have a conversation? Yeah. Okay. That's awesome.
I have, for the past, I'd say 5 years, I've scheduled all trips, family vacations, everything around, is there a store there that I can approach? And that's one of the nice things about owning a company, is that you can kind of, if you work that into your marketing, you can work some of those business expenses into your P&L. But that, like, yeah, and I've been to all sorts of places I would have never been before. Like, I had no other reason to go to, like, Cincinnati, but I went there. I love the refill store there. I love the owner, Rachel, in that particular store. Virginia, like Richmond, Virginia, I have a store owner there, Erin, of Eco Inspired. She is our number 2 retailer in the country. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that she and I now have a personal relationship, where I went and bothered to go visit her in store and learn about her community and learn about her customers and learn about her. And so, yeah, I actually really like it. There's so much of the country that is overlooked by brands, right? Because everyone's like, focus on the coasts or the major cities, but most of the cool stuff in the United States happens in these smaller communities, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think going back to what you were saying when you were in marketing, I'm sure they're just looking at how much the population, right? The big cities, that we can just try to get a lot of it, and then we'll figure out the rest, and then we'll trickle in all those little other areas. When you're looking to work with someone, are there certain criterias that you want as a partnership that are really important for you?
Yeah, in the store, and for store owners, I want someone to make sustainability feel like a party everyone's invited to. There's a lot of talk in sustainability of, like, who's allowed to participate and purity tests and all of these things. And I don't endorse that type of, I don't want to call it gatekeeping, but it's that type of sustainability that doesn't invite everyone. And I think that is something that we see a lot digitally, but in real life, everyone's pretty cool and kind with one another. But there's some stores I refuse to sell in because of the way that they isolate certain customers.
Yeah, and that was one of the questions I wanted to get to, is you're doing this without going into big brand stores. These are all just local small businesses that you're trying to help out there. Has there come a moment that there was temptation to go into that direction, and you had to really sit down with your husband and say, okay, we're going to get away from what our initial plan was? Was there any those moments that happened?
The only temptation I have as far as the big box is Costco, because it makes, our products last a long time, and it would make dip more accessible to families. If there's no refill store, there's usually a Costco in that area. So buying in bulk, or buying, that is a sustainable move, whether it's in plastic or not. It's more sustainable to buy less packaging. But no, as far as like putting products on Amazon or doing any of these other things that would undercut our independent retailers. I don't have that temptation because I know them as humans. Like for example, like our conditioner lasts so long so it lasts about a year for most people. So if someone decided to make a purchase of our conditioner bar, like so they bought the first one at the store and then saw it on Amazon after a year, bought their second bar on Amazon, that store now misses 2 years of that person coming back. So I don't want that. That's not ideal for me. The mission is actually true. Like I want people to go into these sustainable stores and refill their hand soap, refill whatever, like just to do the small things. It does feel good. And I'm not asking people to overhaul their entire lives and not shop on Amazon. That's ridiculous. I just want people to make you can make 3 to 5 changes in your household, and that can make a big difference also to your wallet. Like there's plenty of swaps that are really kind on your bank account.
Yeah, that's another point that you brought up, that you're doing this to try to not have the customer purchase so many products from you. In a sense, you're essentially you're going against the grain in almost every aspect of a CBG product that the more I learned about this, I was like, this is incredible. It's almost like you're the 5-foot guard that made it to the NBA, and you're able to now win a championship. It's literally like that sense. And I mean, do you ever sit down and start to realize that about what you're doing as a business, that you literally
I do.
you're going against everything. You're going and it's successful.
I do think there's some sort of weird, deep-rooted problem with authority. Like I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
My mom was like really a rebellious, eccentric person, and she, always told me to march to the beat of my own drum. And I think I think I may have marched a little too close to the sun, but it's working. It's working. And I think the thing that really sticks with our customers is that they know we're not bombarding them with ads. We've never actually had to run ads. And we don't bombard them with ads. We don't bombard them with emails. We don't bombard them with sales. We don't bombard them. We let them enjoy your hair care for as long as it lasts, and come back when you're ready for another one. And I know that gets under a lot of people, like marketers' skin, and I revel in, I enjoy it. I enjoy that it annoys. I enjoy that it makes customers happy and marketers pissed.
Okay. So my next question is, because you're doing it in against the grain and in this sort of out of the norm way, do you have to run the business accordingly to that? Is there something, because you've been marketing, you worked with beauty products for decades, right? Are you having to plan accordingly and be like, we're going to have to do this a little bit differently because of the style that we're doing it now?
Sometimes, what's really beautiful about Dip is that, started with me for the first 18 months, and then my team has grown. Now we are 7 people strong, and the whole team is on board with what we're doing and how we're doing it. And we all kind of get a kick out of the success of doing less, I guess, if that makes sense.
You're like this rebellious group of retailers just going out there, we're going to try to kick their ass,
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny. For example, and we also we take a lot of pride in how the company is run. And for example, a woman, she used our shower rack incorrectly, and it ended up falling off of her wall and destroying her brand new bathtub. It's a heavy thing. If you don't use it correctly and stick it to the wall correctly, it put a hole in her bathtub. This is a $50 shower rack, and then it caused, I would be devastated. So I wrote to her because she wrote us a bad review, and I didn't ask her to take down the review or anything, but I was like, I would be devastated if I bought something and it destroyed my bathtub, whether I did it incorrectly or not. So we're going to find a couple quotes of plumbers in your area, see who can fix it, and we'll take care of it for you. And she was so blown away.
What are you doing? What are you doing? This is crazy.
Yeah. So it cost us $1,100 to fix it. And that's it. Yeah, it's not a fun bill to write, but that person, I'm sure, has 20 people that she knows in real life that she'll tell that story to. And I'm not telling the story for to pat myself on the back, but
no, I totally get it.
No one on the Dip team was like, that's a stupid thing to do. You don't need to pay for that. Everyone was like, yeah, let's figure out, let's all I have a human customer service person, Janet, who's amazing. And Janet was like, I'll call these 5 companies and see what we can get as quotes. And the customer didn't want the cheapest one, to our dismay, but whatever's fine. we got her the expensive one that she wanted and she trusted. And like, I think when a company does something that's so surprising, it builds its own like legendary status you know, in that person's real life.
Sure, because there are bigger companies, large corporations that would never do anything like that, right?
Never.
They're just write something like, hey, here's a $50 coupon for the next time you want to purchase something from us.
Yeah.
I think to go above and beyond really speaks true to who you are as a company. When you guys are like having team meetings, what's a thought process behind that too as you're moving forward? How far are you looking ahead for the sustainability side to be able to change? Essentially, you're trying to change the world and then also grow this company in a way that's so different in terms of marketing. What is it? What are you guys thinking the next 5-10 years it's going to look like for Dip?
For us, our challenge is always getting like a new store to trust us, or a new salon to trust the brand, that we do what we say we're going to do. I think that's a big hurdle. I think a lot of small stores invest in indie brands and then watch that brand like kind of build their clout on their backs and then go to Amazon and big box. So you see, it's getting them to trust that we're not actually going to do that. I mean, I could have been on Amazon a long time ago. I could have 10x'd my sales on Amazon. To be honest, like it would be much easier for me to do that than to sell individually to indie stores. But it wouldn't move the needle in what the bigger picture is, which is not only sustainability, but also keeping these spaces in communities alive. Like small stores it's not like a nice to have. For me, it's what makes a town a town. Like I live in a town that has, and I specifically chose it because it has like a cute ice cream store, a candy shop, like it has like an independent hardware store, and we shop at those places because the people working there are members of the community. It's a bigger conversation than it is about buying and selling. It's about what it means to be in a community, what it means to watch businesses close left and right, and what the aftermath of letting all the local businesses close actually look like. Like, what does it mean for your town? It would be devastating.
Yeah, I think that's even harder now to do what you're doing in an economic time like we are in 2026. You and I talked about before the recording that it's really tough right now. Money is just not spreading out into the economy. So I think for where you were going against the grain with putting something out there that could sustain for, let's say, a whole entire year and not have to buy that. That's probably now the moment that people are talking about your product because they're like, this is great. You can buy this. You probably don't have to buy it until the end of 2027,
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have one of my store owners in New Jersey. She's in Summit, New Jersey. She sold over $200,000 worth of dip. Like in just one store. That's a lot of money to pay her rent, to pay her employees. So she's able to have a day off. Like all of these things are very important. That is the bigger sustainability is just like not about only plastic. It's about behavior. It's about how you treat people. I guess it's beyond just pollution. It's sustainability has to do with like the human side of it. And I think that having like some capitalism with a hefty dose of like empathy is important. I think when you get into these digital hellscapes where you can't return anything, or you're motivated by fake reviews, or all the UGC is from non-customers, like I think that's where you kind of lose the plot.
Yeah, for sure. And could you explain, because this is something that I want to make sure we get into this episode, the moment that you started this in your house, in your kitchen, I'm assuming, putting everything out there, dining room table, to figuring out how you're choosing the, I guess, ingredients to go into what it is you're selling. Can you walk us through that, in the next 5 minutes and explain that to us?
Yeah. So first, when it comes to ingredients, so I have been in the beauty industry for 20 years. So it's coming into building a beauty brand. I had connections, and I knew, for me in particular, I knew the chemist I wanted to work with. He's someone that had been making luxury hair care for 40 years. 40 years is a lot of over like kind of having a bird's eye view of trends and ingredients and knowing what was worth it and what wasn't and what's trending and what's not trending. And so, and what's clean and not clean. He also was someone who's very heavily involved with the cosmetic chemistry like world and was always on the pulse of new ingredients as well as kind of knowing the tried and true ones. And so I told him, I was like, I want something. These are the problems I'm trying to solve. One is I want a shampoo that's gentle enough to use every day because I run. I'm an endurance runner. I want to shower every day. I don't want to go through the hat. Well, I'm wearing a hat now, but like the hat, the bun, like not washing every day because I don't want to disrupt my scalp. Right. So I want it to be used every day if possible. And the conditioner, and I wanted to just be gentle. And the conditioner, I wanted it to satisfy all hair types and also be able to detangle my hair when I came out of surfing or came out of the pool or wherever. And so having those two kind of, the reasons why the products needed to exist helped narrow down how we formulated it. And actually for the all hair types piece of it, that was very, very challenging. We went through 40 iterations before it worked for someone with fine blonde hair and someone that had type 4, kinky coily, really tight curls. But that was,
one of those can do both.
Yeah.
You're saying a product
so
can do both.
So my best friend, she's half black, half Italian, and she has 3 different curl patterns in her hair. And in her family, she has, 4 different hair types, right? Imagine a family buying shampoo and conditioner. It doesn't make sense in bar form for them to have 4 different sets of bars. There's no packaging. How are you going to identify them all? Where are you going to store them? And so I think about, I built the company from the perspective of family, one family sharing a shower. Can they all use it? And if they can't all use the bars, then it's not a good product, in my opinion, because I don't see, and not everyone wants to share bars. That's besides the point. Lots of families do, or couples, or best friends, or roommates. They'll share the bars on their head. It's something that I didn't want people to have to buy multiples for the same household.
Got it. And so when you found that chemist, you started working with him. You said you went 40 of these to finally get to where you wanted to go. Yeah. How long did that process take?
So when I say 40 of them, sometimes 5 different versions would come at once.
Okay.
So it wasn't like one at a time and I was sitting on a throne being like, bad. No. It was a bunch of them would come at once. And I'm very lucky to have a very diverse set of friends and family. And I had them all put it through the ringer. The best part about living in New Jersey is people are very blunt and honest with you if they don't like something,
Yeah,
and so I
sure.
just had them, I had them critique the hell out of it until everyone was happy. And that took a long time, but it was worth the effort. It was worth the effort. It was worth pulling my hair out and my chemist pulling his hair out, being like, oh, when is it going to be the one? And once we came up with the one formula, I knew that the next biggest part was making it smell amazing. And so I knew a lot about how people respond to different scents and the different categories of scents people are drawn to. So I tried to satisfy all scents, in the development. And our custom scents are really, really beautiful. And then we also have fragrance free for anyone who might, be trying to avoid scents completely. And also if anyone's immunocompromised or, going through IVF or cancer treatments, all of those require fragrance. You have to have amazing fragrance-free products available for people who are going through medical treatments. I don't know why every brand doesn't have a fragrance-free version.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. Then to get into that deep, because I was thinking about that when you're describing that, because when I did have hair, I went through this process, right? And for my hair, to have Asian hair, it was at that time, especially when I was growing up in the 90s, early 2000s, there was gel. There was same shampoo that was not for my hair. And I used to go and every week literally go in and buy different things. And I, after a while, just gave up. I was like, now there's more products, right? More available products. But at the time I was thinking the same thing. I was like, this is crazy. I know I'm not the only one, right? There's enough people in my hair that would go through this process and to just go, I'm just going to use whatever it's made for someone else. That's, it sucks. And when you're that moment when you finally found the right formula and you're starting to package it, get it out there. What was your process in that? Were you just, we're going to start off small, a certain amount, and then start to figure out order as we go along? Or did you, like, what was your minimum order the first time you started selling?
So anyone who's building any kind of product, the best thing you can do up front is try and negotiate low minimums to start. And so for myself, I negotiated down, I think it was like 250 of each, which is
Mhm.
very small. But I was able to do that because I went through with my before I had my own manufacturing facility with my contract manufacturer. I sold them on the dream. You got to sell people on the dream. You got to tell them, like, this is the vision, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is why you should, believe in me a little bit and just, give us the small, make the buy-in small, because the next purchase order is going to be big. I can promise you. And like, you have to have like a little bit of, you got to be your own hype person, and you got to have a little bit of audacity, and you have to have that kind of radiance that gets someone excited about what you're trying to do. Even if you've already been working with these people. I was already working with these people to build it. And then it came down to like ordering it. And your cash is the only thing that matters in the beginning, right? Like you have to make sure that you don't, well, it's also so you can test the formula with customers or test your product with customers before you make any adjustments. So like for me, I wanted to make sure that I could buy a little bit, prove it again beyond my own, like sphere
Friends and
of
family. Yeah, yeah,
friends,
yeah.
friends and family. And I wanted to prove it in the market before I went and put in the bigger purchase order. So we started with the small orders of 250 of each. And then eventually, now I have my own factory, and we're doing like 100,000 units. It's crazy. It feels crazy.
When was that moment that you realized that you needed to move to a factory?
My contract manufacturer went bankrupt. They took a big purchase order from me and then just closed. It was
Wow.
a nightmare. Actually, I didn't know if I was going to have a company. Like, I didn't know. And I'm smiling now, but back then I was like puking blood. I didn't know like what was going to happen. I had
Wow.
orders coming in. I couldn't fill them. I didn't know what was going on. And eventually like I took some of the displaced workers, and we now have our own facility. And it's the best thing I ever did. It was one of the scariest things I've ever done in business. I had no business or expertise or knowledge of the legal side of owning my own factory, but I do now. You
Yeah.
just got to leave it.
Well, I was going to ask you, one of my questions I wanted to get in was, what was one of the biggest hurdles that you have? Was that it? Was
One of
your
them.
main manufacturer? Yeah. Or what do you think
Yeah,
is
that
another one that comes
was
to
the
mind?
I think all of the crappy sustainable products that people have tried before dip is my biggest hurdle, because they're like, I'm not doing another bar. I'm not trying it. I've already wasted so much money on these bars. I'm not doing it. And then so I'm like, okay, that's why our money back guarantee is, so we'll refund someone's shipping. We'll refund all of it, every single penny, if you don't love the bars. And I mean, out of every 10,000 bars sold, I think like 6 get returned. Like, it's the people generally like it or love it and stick with it. And that is amazing. And like all around the country at any time, like I'm sure in the time that we've had this conversation, there are store owners telling people that it's great.
Yeah. What do you think is that missing piece that gets resolved, that's from someone that went through all these different bars and now they're like, okay, I'm going to give this one more shot with dip? What do you think is that final straw, whatever it is, that gets them over and go, okay, let me do this?
I tell them, my beef is not with hair science. My beef is with plastic. The hair science is still in there. Your hair is going to look amazing and shiny and beautiful after you use dip. It's the plastic I have the beef with. Like, I don't have problems with science and cosmetic chemistry. Like, they're not all natural. I never wanted to make an all natural product. I wanted a product that was so good and performed so well that the plastic free part didn't have anything to do with it. And so once I tell people that, because to be honest, a lot of the bars out there are made in the same 10 factories with the same very similar formulas, and just like the marketing ingredients are changed. So even if you switch from brand to brand to brand, you're getting a very similar experience because it's a very similar formula. And so with dip, our formulas are, proprietary. They're kept in our own facility. Like, we don't make bars for other people, and they're actually very special.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, to
Thanks.
start to close out. Okay, what's next for Dip? What are there certain products that are coming in that you want to tell people about?
Well, we just did a partnership. I can't say exactly what it is just yet until it goes out. Who knows which one of my competitors is listening to this and trying to take notes.
Yeah.
But we just did a partnership with Savannah College of Art and Design, SCAD, that's where myself and my husband met in art school in Savannah a long time ago. And now we have a brand, and we paid it forward to the students and did something called SCAD Pro, where we challenged the students with a sustainability project that came out with our next launch. And so I can't say what it is just yet, but I want to say that the students were very inspiring, and like working with students to come up with and it's a paid partnership with the university. So it wasn't like we, the students got like course credit for it and everything. It was really cool. But like I love talking to people who are going to inherit the earth, right? We're 25 years ahead of them in our lifespan, and talking to students about what their fears were for the future and what their hopes were for capitalism in general. It was really inspiring. And then they knocked it out of the park and made something really awesome that we are going to put into production. So
That's
I'll keep
awesome.
that mystery alive.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I'm gonna try to keep up with
Yeah.
it. That's awesome. All right. And normally I'd ask where can you find a product or find whatever it is. So, but I feel like this is going to be a little bit of a different way to explain this. So where can people find it?
Sure. You can go to dipalready.com and you can buy from our website. That's no problem. Or you can go in the main bar, there's a store locator, and it'll pull up the store closest to you. And it could be a surf shop, a salon, or a zero waste store. And if you haven't already explored any of those places in your town that pull up, please go and buy it from them. I make less money when you shop in the stores, but it is better for your neighborhood and better for wherever you live if you shop there. And if you want to follow us online, it's at Dip Already on Instagram and TikTok. I'm always in the DMs on both if you have any questions.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kate. It's an amazing story. Please go support her product and follow her for the next big thing that they're going to do.
Thanks. Thank you for having me. This has been really a good time.
Yeah. Thanks, Kate. And this is Personal Side of Business.